So I actually had just finished yoga and I was curled up in a ball and I was like taking a picture of myself and I looked down and I was like, that kind of looks like a Jenny Seville photo. Or painting.
I love that.
Right? And I was like, fuck it. And I took a picture, one photo, posted it because I knew that wasn't for me.
Right.
It was for someone else.
Right.
And boom.
And then did it feel good for you?
Yeah, 100%.
To get all that feedback?
Justin was so confused. Yeah. He was like, you were just crying yesterday.
And you're like, well, it's a new day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now I feel better. And now, it's out in the world. I'm pregnant.
Yeah, but that's so cool. I mean, that to me is another way of me showing, like you showing me how you've always taken agency and you've always taken the narrative and you've made it your own and you've made it so that it feels good to you. And that is so inspiring.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, you've done that too so brilliantly, and you've done it through your brand, Inamorata. Yeah. I'm saying it right,
yes,
right?
You
okay.
Are. Yeah.
How did you come up with the name?
I really wanted it to be not an Emrata. I didn't want it to be my name, but I liked the idea. I've always liked Rata. I like the way it sounds. I like Emrata in general. Like I hear it and I'm like, oh, that's got a good little
It's a good nickname.
It was my nickname. That was it. So I wanted to find something that was sort of similar. Inamorata, spelled a little differently in Italian, means like a female lover or like kind of a muse. And I liked the idea of women being like their own muses, their own lovers, like self-love, all that stuff. So it feels like I'm like explaining a tattoo that I got that like means a lot and like I'm not doing a good job of it. But like it actually is like when the name does mean a lot.
So it's Italian.
Yeah.
I love that because I was looking at it and I was like, I'm in Amorata.
I mean, you can do whatever you want.
I mean, I took like my
interpretation, but there is meaning behind it.
I really love that.
Oh, thanks.
So what inspired you to make Inamorata?
I had done a couple licensing deals. My name and my likeness was being used by these companies, and they were, I think there was a really big transition. You probably felt it too, where all of a sudden you weren't being used as like a model. You're being used for your Instagram, for your creative direction, for your perspective on the world and your branding abilities. And then I'd get these checks and I'd be like, wait, that's that percentage? Like, that's pretty good for me, but that means they're making so much money. We'd have creative differences sometimes with like design or branding or marketing. And I was just like, I could do this myself. But then also I grew up in San Diego and grew up in a beach culture, which is like part of the reason that I like accepted and loved my body so much and celebrated my body. And so I love the idea of making bathing suits for like my younger self.
What were brands that inspired you to do it? Or like, was there inspiration from brands? Because I'm sure the inspiration came from, I want to own, I want full control.
Yes.
But is there like inspiration, like where do you gather it from? Because what do you call them on Instagram? Insta stories?
Saved folder files.
Saved folder files on the stories. Those can't go away.
Yeah, no, I'll keep doing them.
Okay,
I just had a busy week, but I'll keep doing it for you.
Thank you.
When you're studying art, like obviously my dad is a painter, my mom's an English professor, but I've always been a really visual person. I was always like saving things, collecting things. I used to collage a lot. So the idea of like the creative aspects of running a brand and like branding were very appealing to me. So there wasn't really a specific brand, but there are a lot of like reference images that I sort of collected that were like, this is our girl, this is our world.
I was almost thinking like not brand, but person, because I should have said Kathy Ireland.
Yes.
Because she actually presented the award to you at Daily Front Row. And it was Entrepreneur of the Year.
Yeah, it was so surreal to have her there.
How did you ask her to present that award to you?
Well, it was interesting because, we're thinking about starting to talk to VCs and like go down that world. So I was talking to different people and they were like, you know Kathy Ireland's story? And I was like, what? Like, she's cool. She did SI, right? Which is what so many people think about her when they think about Kathy Ireland. They're like, oh yeah, like poster child for Sports Illustrated. Then I look her up and I'm like, what? She has a $1 billion company. So I educated myself. This was like months and months, like maybe 6 months ago. And I kind of got obsessed with her and her story. And so when Daily Front Row approached me about having someone give me this award, I was like, well, dream would be Kathy Ireland because goals. And then you're friends with her, right?
Yes.
So how did you kind of get into that?
Justin had been telling me for years that I'm like Kathy.
Yeah.
And that's what a good partner does.
I know.
They inspire you to be someone you feel like you maybe couldn't even like see yourself in the same world as. And he kept saying, get her number, call her. And I was like, there's no way in hell she'd answer my number or my phone call. Finally, I called Ivan Bart, president of IMG, and was like, I need to talk to Kathy Ireland. He's like, about what? I was like, she needs to be my mentor. And I tweeted her. And she tweeted me back.
Wow.
And then she said, you know, we both come from same like upbringings of like very Christian. And like, I was like, girl, Christian girl, one to another. Next thing you know, I invited her to something. She came, she invited me to something.
Wow.
And I mean, she is the epitome of where I want to take my brand.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so smart. I mean, I actually, like, when we sat down at lunch, I really was like, okay, tell me everything. Like, how'd you start? Whatever. And it's interesting, like, you know, I think it's the same thing with you, too. Like, that I related so much to her is, like, she just wanted to work. She was like, modeling is a great way to make some money to do other things. And that's where my head was always at. Like, that's why I even, like, decided to pursue it full time. And that's just like so cool to see how she has turned this thing that could have been just very simple, like put the money in your bank account, whatever, and built this huge business, $1 billion business.
She's an empire.
So
I mean, modeling has been as a platform.
Yes.
So Inamorata is what's the size range?
We go all the way up to XXL.
I love it.
Yeah, we do XX small. We do like run the whole gamut. But it's been pretty amazing. I mean, we've been able to have like really special people in it. We had Judith Light, we've had Lena Dunham, we've had you. Like so many people have worn our clothes, but like just like it's starting to feel like a community of women for women. And I love that so much.
Well, when I put it on, everybody on my crew was like, "Oh, I love that set. Oh, it's so
good color
it's so
on you.
chic. It's
I'm
so
loving
this.
it.
I love it."
Good.
So you're a business owner.
Yes, I am. I gave a couple percentage points to my very good friend who now does a lot of the manufacturing production side of it. Other than that, it's all me. I own all of it.
100%.
Yes.
I mean, except for Kat is your other.
Yes,
Okay.
who is one of my best friends and my partner, and it's all self-financed. So.
And how many employees are there?
There's one employee, so we're really basically.
Wait, so it's you, Kat, and one employee?
Yes, and then like 3 interns that kind of rotate out.
Okay, I need to understand. You know, I'm building businesses as well, and I want to know like how you built this. What's the structure like?
It's pretty crazy. Like it's a lot of trial and error. I'm sure you've experienced that. Our production's actually all in LA, which is really amazing. So it's all American made. Our pick and pack is very close to there. Our office is in Brooklyn, and I do sort of all the creative strategizing for the year, like all the designing. We don't have a design team, so I draw everything. I pick the fabrications, I pick the prints, and then Kat really works closely with production to make sure that everything is delivered. But I'm like, yeah, we're it. We're it.
How do you trust yourself to do something? Because
I don't trust anyone else. That's why. We have like this joke, and I actually was telling Kathy about it, where we're like, trust no one, trust no one. And every time we delegate, we're like, shit, trust no one. Like it's always a lesson that like we just care so much. And I think as women, you are taught to be like, oh, I don't know about that. So you teach me. And eventually I just realized like, no, I can learn and I can like do it better. And I care more than anyone else would. So I'll maybe do a better job. But at some point, we're going to have to start delegating, like, pretty damn soon. So.
I mean, I can't imagine. You're a supermodel, you're a businesswoman, you're an activist, you're an actress, you're a wife. Like, all of a sudden, it just, like,
dog
turns...
mom.
You're a dog mom. You're a mommy.
Yeah.
Like, it just turns into a lot.
It's definitely a lot. I mean, that's why you have to take the time to do this stuff of, like, writing and, like, self-care and all that stuff. So...
What has surprised you the most in Inamorata?
What I would say is, like, trusting myself has been so rewarding. And that is really scary because when I was trusting myself, I was like, I don't know. I'm going to be that girl who put all this money into this thing and all this energy, and it's going to like blow up in my face and I'm going to be so mad at myself, you know? And instead, every time I've sort of listened to someone else, my experience has been like, that wasn't like listening to my gut has only served me well, is basically been the best lesson. And I hope I like take that into every area of my life. So
I always tell myself to remember what my gut says. And I've done a lot of
yes.
gut checks, and my gut